Why am I struggling if God is so great? Why do I have to feel pain so deeply if the God that we all talk about is just so great? And for me, the big teenager thing was that I almost saw every other teenager doing the same thing, as where teenagers skipped that part of faith and they would just go into putting faith in the background part of their life. Especially, I went to a Christian private school, yet I still saw it. I was so confused that everything else was prioritized, but your faith was like more back here. It was okay. Like, yes, I'm going to preach about it. I'm going to post about it. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to boast about it. Yet your actions would show otherwise. Your choices would show otherwise. Yet I would rarely hear anyone ever speak about God or Jesus. Rarely ever, besides maybe in school. But that was because we had to. We had a Bible class. And so it was like everyone pushed that to the side. And I learned to also do it myself. Now, I'm not blaming that on people. I chose that. I chose to do it myself as well. I didn't really want a full relationship with God because that is so vulnerable. And to me, I wasn't patient enough. I wanted everything the way I wanted it to be. And I wanted God to answer all my prayers. I wanted God to literally be like a genie, answer all my 3 wishes right here, right now. And if I had to wait, what's the point of even believing in God? And it tore me down. Of course, it tore me down because it's like, that's not how I feel I should have built my relationship with God. Yeah, it is my testimony. However, I also saw everyone kind of doing the same when it comes to like teenagers and the friends I surrounded myself with. And it just never really added up to me. I could barely be vulnerable with my parents. So for me to be vulnerable with God was like, I don't want to do that. Especially if I have the choice, I don't want to do it. And I had the choice and I chose not to do it. But I chose to still talk about him to people. I still chose to act like I was a true believer, and I tried to act like everything was okay. But then slowly I would start to lose that kind of. I think that most viewers, or if you're watching and you feel like this resonates with you, most of the time, a lot of us put our faith to the background. And I think one of those experiences for me is that I was literally sitting in church and I did everything I need to do. I wrote down the notes after the pastor preached. For my grandma, she used to ask us, what did we learn in church? I would write. And that was just because I was really good at writing. Like I knew when to take notes. I knew what to do. I knew what needed to go on in that moment. It was just so like core memorized. My brain was like, yes, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. Yeah, I started looking around and I was like, I wonder if any of these people in the church feel the way I do. Or maybe they're all putting on front, or maybe they really do have a relationship with God. But how do they have a relationship with God? I never understood what it was like to have a relationship with God. I only understood the rules of what it was like to have a relationship with God. I only understood that you had to do this, and you had to do this. Like you have to be this person, and you have to look like this type of believer in order to have a relationship with God. And I just could never really put my finger upon it. Even for me, it was like, it just felt so prototyped, especially because, for example, I said, like I was writing notes. And so of course, like my cousins, my brothers, we all go to church together, and they would obviously believe in God too, but they were older to me. So I always looked up to them, and I would be the only ones writing notes, and they would look at my notes. And we were young, so no shame to them. But they would look at my notes, and my girl would be like, what'd you learn? They'd be like, Rain, give me that. Give me that. And they would say whatever I wrote down on the notes so they could use it. And I was like, so there's no way that all these people are listening. If like even I see this happening, it's like, okay, so maybe nobody really does fully listen in church. And maybe lukewarmness just starts because you just center it as something you have to do instead of something you want to do.